There are two main selectors that you will use when you're programming with jQuery, and I'm just going to show you how to quickly manipulate those. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly create a few divs. I'm going to call this I'm going to have this ID of div1. Let's be lazy, and we're going to close this div, and let's create a few of them, and I'm going to use the console to show you how I'm doing this. Divs, IDs through our HTML document cannot have the same divs cannot, basically all objects cannot have the same ID, so basically each ID has to be unique. If you want to refer to these these divs all together, you put them in what's known as a class, which is what I'll do now. So let's create more divs, and then we're not going to name these divs, we're going to call, in fact, sorry, wrong button, I'm going to call you 4, 5 and 6, 4, 5 and 6, but for these we're going to give you a class instead, class, and then we're going to give you a class of div. Let's be lazy. Okay, now as you can see here, classes can be given to more than one object, whereas IDs has to be unique throughout the document. I don't think it doesn't throw an exception. However, it's not following convention. So yeah, you have to keep each ID unique. And basically, you may be thinking, what does div mean? Div just means division, whereas let's say the img tag means image. The A tag is what you use for text, etc., etc. We will go more into depth of this as we progress throughout these tutorials. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to example.js that we created earlier on, and I'll basically show you what the difference this makes later on if I ever do show you how to make a website. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly show you the two types of callers. I can't think of the word off the top of my head right now, I'm a bit tired, but you basically do that again, and you do open your quotation marks. Not doing this will throw an exception, because what you're saying is this is when you call it, you're basically saying that this isn't a string, it's a function or a variable throughout the document, so you have to put it in quotation marks or those. So to call on classes, what you do is you do a dot, and then we made this dot div, and I'm just going to do this quickly. Console.log div dot length quickly. So this is basically what I've just said here is the console.log. I'll show you what that is quickly. Why is it not giving me Chrome? That's a bit slow. Previewing Chrome. This is basically the console. If I go to the console here, okay, that's rather embarrassing. Yeah, I haven't spelled that correctly. So just quickly spell U, Control save, refresh the page, and as you can see, we've got 3 divs. That's basically saying in this class we've got 1, 2, 3 objects that have the class name div. Whereas if you knew specifically what it was that you wanted to call on, you'd basically use a different character, which is the hashtag. Unfortunately, this has nothing to do with Twitter. This is basically what we've been doing. So use the hashtag for when you're referring to IDs. So let's say you want to refer to div1, for instance, and then show you what it actually is working. I'm quickly just going to add a few CSS properties, and I'm going to say its width is 100, its height is 100, haven't even 100, and the background color #333, And then now we should see that we have created something here. So as you can see, this CSS properties have been created dynamically using jQuery. And now if you don't know what CSS means, it basically means cascading style sheet, because that's where the styling of elements goes. So yeah, we've created that. So that's only on div 1. If let's say we wanted to put this on the different divs, the class instead, we're going to put .div, and we're going to have to put a margin there so we can see the difference. Margin left, let's say left, sorry, margin left 150 p. Okay, don't need the px. 150. Bang. So you can see, because they're created because of the position that they have, they've basically gone, this is div, what will be the first one, the second one, and the third one. Just click inspect element. So that's the first one. Inspect element, you can see that's the second one. Inspect element, you can see that is the third one. Woo, that's amazing. However, let me show you what the positioning does instead. If I put a position of position of absolute. Now if you ever found that your code isn't working for sometimes, what you need to do is, if you could try put it in inverted commas instead, because I remember one time I was stressing over code because I didn't put display block in a different quotation mark, and then I found out and was like, this is a really stupid mistake. But position absolute, what that will do instead is they will now all be on one, because basically what that is saying is that it basically allows you to overlap what you have. I'm just going to show you quickly. If you wanted to cycle through each of these, what you can do is you can do this. You can call div, so that's everything with the class name div dot each, and then call a function. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to put something that we can refer to, and I usually call that e, and you see why we do that. So basically what now I'm going to do is what this does, it's a for loop. This is a term, but it means that you don't have to hard code basically. I don't have to write for div 4 it has to be 400, and the margin top has to be 300, and then div 4 the margin top has to be div 5, sorry, the margin top has to be 600. It allows you to do things dynamically on different parts of your document. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say this. What this means, it's referring to the current object, the current one of these. This dot css margin top. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 100 times e. Now this when you get into programming, you'll realize that different things start at a different value. As in, when I showed you the div, when I did div dot length earlier on, it started at 1, so we got a return of 3. However, when I do it here, e starts at 0. So basically this means that this first div will not be moved, because it will be 100 times 0. And whereas the second one, with the class name div, it will be 100 times 1, so the margin top will be 100. I'll just put a gap here instead. 100 times 1, and then the second div will be 120 times 2. So the maximum length, the maximum value will be 2, whereas it's actually 3 objects. But don't get confused, it just starts at 0. So 100 times e. I'm just going to 120 times each, going to see that in action. So you can see there, instead of having to hard code each of these one by one, I've just done it quickly and dynamically, which saves a lot of time. I wish I'd found this out when I was programming earlier as well. So, you know, that's just been another not quick tutorial. That's an absolute lie. I didn't even realize it was going to go this long. But, you know, as usual, thank you very much for watching. Sorry for the mistakes. I'm a bit tired, and sorry for my sore throat. It's not sore, it's just a bit croaky right now. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching.